Hello, my friends. Whew. I just ran up the stairs. Whew. Okay. I got my breath. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I am good at a lot of things, but ending a conversation is not one of them. All right, let's talk about dream symbolism. I have a few parts of this that I want to talk about and explain and get into. But before I even do, I want to just address the crazy energy out there. It is not just you. If you are feeling the craziness, you are not alone. Lots and lots of people are feeling this. I've heard a bunch of different things and a bunch of different reasons as to why and what's going on. But yeah, you're not alone. I was getting all kinds of trippy angel downloads last night, so yeah. Hey Aspen, hey Carrie. Aspen was one of the people I was telling my trippy downloads to last night. So you're not alone. There is some kind of very intense energy going on. We're in the last quarter of this moon cycle, so we're getting closer and closer to the new moon. Once that hits, I always get a little torn between still releasing, letting go and analyzing and starting new stuff. It's like I can feel the energy of the new moon coming, and then I can also still feel like the need to release it and being in line with the full moon still waning. So if you're feeling that too, that's why. You're like me. We just feel that. We get excited with new moon energy coming. My whole body just physically reacts to the new moon in such an intense way. So that could be part of, I'm sure that's not helping all the other crazy cosmic stuff we have going on right now. All right, so let's talk about dream symbolism. The first thing you need to know about dream symbolism is that the most important part of it is what the dream symbol means to you. So before you go Googling how to dream about a deer or whatever, before you go Googling that or checking in your dream book dictionary or whatever it is that you look at, you really first want to see what it means to you. Symbolism in dreams is just for you. So yes, there are symbols that, to most people mean these things because these animals or signs or colors represent this in the universe. So there is totally that. But the way that dreams work, which I'm going to explain a little bit more in a second, are very, very exclusive to you and what you know. So if you have a dream, I'm using the deer because there was a deer in my yard yesterday. I looked out the kitchen window and it was like right here looking at me in the window. And so I quickly thought about what the deer means to me before I went and looked up what the symbolism is. Okay, so using my deer example, to me, when I see a deer or if I dream about a deer, the first thing I think about is just this beautiful, graceful, intuitive power. Like I just feel that energy coming from deer. They seem kind of magical to me. I remember as a kid, I had this story that it was like a little fairy tale book, and the deers in it would lead you to the world of the fairies. So I always see them as just like very magical kinds of creatures. So that's the first thing I'm going to think about before I go and search on, one of my favorite databases online or in my dream dictionary. That's the first thing I'm going to do. What does this mean to me? How do I connect with this myself? How dreams work are every single thing in the dream that's happening is about you and a form of you. So let's say you have a dream about your child, and in it, your child robs a bank. Okay. And so you wake up, I get at least once a week, a panicky message or email that's like, oh my God, I had a dream that my kid was going to rob a bank or die or murder someone, or I went to jail. Oh my God, is this going to happen? No. I'll explain premonition dreams in a minute. It actually has nothing to do with the other person in the dream. So if you, for example, your son robs a bank in a dream, the first thing you're going to look at is, how is my son me? Like, what does my son represent about me? All right. So the obvious answer to that is going to be your role as a mother. So if we go into symbolism, that is your role as a nurturer. Okay. Motherhood for women symbolically represents nurturing. With me? So what happened? What did your son do in this dream? Well, he did something wrong, and he took from people things that he didn't pay for, he didn't earn, and he committed a crime. Okay? So now apply that to yourself and how you feel about the way you're nurturing. probably what that means probably is that when you were seeing him rob this place, you're nurturing, you felt like maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe it wasn't going to lead this person down the right path. Maybe there needs to be a balance in what you're giving and what you're getting. All right? Makes sense? So everything applies back to you. If you have a dream with your favorite TV character in it, awesome. But what does that character represent about you? How does it connect to you? What's relatable to you? How is that a piece of you? When in your life were you the most connected to that TV character? It's about you, not the character. Dream about a friend you haven't seen in 20 years. Go back to that time when you were friends with them. How does that person reflect that version of you? And what does that mean to you now? With me? Making sense? Another thing about dreams, let's separate dreams and premonition. Okay, so symbolism, a dream that is your subconscious working through stuff with your conscious mind to let it know what it needs to look at and shift and learn. And let's look at that in line with a premonition. What's the difference? How do you tell? All right, premonition dreams where you dream about something that's going to happen are rare. Okay, now rare in the sense that they don't happen all the time. They happen on occasion. All right, not rare that most people don't have them. Most people do have them. All right, you probably can think of at least one time where you had a dream that was a premonition of something that was about to happen. But typically, a premonition dream is something that is very rare and very special to come visit you and comes for some reason, the universe wants you to have the information before you go in to whatever event is about to occur. Okay? But for the most part, premonition dreams are not what's happening. So again, if you dream that your son's going to rob a bank or rob a store, it's not telling you that that's going to happen. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and realize that that's occurred as you were sleeping or it's going to occur next week. That's symbolic. Now, typically with a premonition dream, they feel very different. They look very different and are experienced very different from a regular dream, where you're just getting symbolism, you're working through stuff and picking up more lessons and information that you can use to move forward. Because the state of consciousness that you are in when you have a premonition dream is different than the state of consciousness that you're in when you have a regular old run-of-the-mill dream, okay? So you are going to experience the two very different. Most of the time, if you are having dreams that are triggering you very emotionally, you are in a state of consciousness that's very close to being awake. If you are having dreams where you're like, I don't even think I was in that dream, but I know all the stuff that was going on. You are very, very deep in a deep state of sleep, in a deeper state of consciousness. If you're having a premonition dream, you're not even in that line. So let's say those emotional dreams are here and those dreams that you're not even sure you're in are down here. To have a premonition dream, you have to be over here. Okay? Totally possible. Totally happens, and it happens to some people more than others, just depending on your gifts and your purpose. It doesn't happen to me very often. I'm a very intuitive person, so don't feel bad if it doesn't. Okay? So for the most part, just assume that most of your dreams, 99.9% of your dreams, are not premonition dreams. And notice, if you have a dream that is just not how you dream, it's very out of sync with the way that you do things, then know that that might be, and make sure you journal about it. Okay? Makes sense? All right. Another common thing I hear when it comes to symbolism in dreams is, well, I looked it up in my dream dictionary or online, and I found 10 different definitions for what this one symbolism could mean. Like, which one is it? It's the one that makes the most sense to you. It's the one that when you feel it intuitively, you know that there's a piece of that that's right for you. Dream symbolism websites and dictionaries are not meant to tell you exactly what your dream is about. It's meant to help trigger intuitive information and use so that you can figure that out, okay? Another thing, and I mentioned this in a video before, but another thing that's really, really helpful is to use words, talk out a dream you had to another person. As you speak it, you'll remember more and more symbolism will become clearer and it will be easier for you to really understand the message. There are also times when you'll have a dream with some kooky symbolism in it and you wake up and think like, what did I eat for dinner that made me dream that wackiness? And it doesn't make any sense and you can't make it make any sense. Leave it, write it down and revisit it in a week or two. Suddenly, Boom. That makes sense for the next thing that you went through. Okay. Now it's different to pick up on energy ahead of you and get symbolism that applies to energy ahead of you, like things that are coming, than it is to have a premonition dream. Okay, those are two different things. And so let me explain the difference between those as well. So when you're having a premonition dream, you're being given by angels or spirit or some being in the universe is giving to you information to use as you move through something. There's a reason that that information is needed for you to best move through what you're going through. That's what a premonition dream is. That's why they happen. I cannot explain exactly what constitutes you needing to know it because I have no idea. But that's the general thing of why a premonition dream comes in, okay? So if you had a dream that your friend was going to get in a car accident, and the next day she does get in a car accident, the universe wanted you energetically prepped to deal with that ahead of time, okay? Again, it does not always make sense to me why we get some stuff and why we don't. Intuition works in that same way. People ask me all the time, what am I having? Am I having a girl or a boy when they're pregnant? Like, when am I due? When am I going to get pregnant? They ask me that all the time. And sometimes I know, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I can explain it all with every single detail in it, and sometimes I have absolutely no freaking idea. Or sometimes I think I know and I'm wrong, right? That's just how it works. Like, is that person supposed to have that information? Then it will come. If they're not, then they won't, right? Do I know why? No. I just trust it. Okay, so that's premonition. When you're getting symbolisms and things that apply to stuff ahead of you, so you're getting all this information that's coming in, and these symbols will help you go through something that's coming up for you, whether you foresee it or not. What's going on is that the energy of that event, that thing in life, is already, the intention of it is already hitting you. Okay, so sometimes I'll have all these crazy dreams, and they all have to do with, let's say, like prepping for speaking somewhere. And I'm like, but I have no speaking gigs. Why am I having this throat chakra stuff? And I keep seeing myself speaking. Interesting. And then the next week, 4 speaking gigs get booked. And I realize that the working through of that issue helped bring those in. It will help me do a better job through them. Makes sense? So sometimes the intention of whatever that event is, that thing that's occurring, comes and hits you in a dream so that you can deal with it and fully reel that in. Really be able to shift and move through something. Does that make sense? Sometimes it gets a little confusing and trippy to see the difference, but I want you to understand, because I think if you understand that, understanding the symbolism is much easier. The other thing that you need to do if you want to understand your dreams is you need to trust your intuition. Absolutely trust it. If you are in that boat, this is a boat. I'm calling it a boat. I don't know why that makes sense to me, but it really does. If you are in that boat where you are always doubting your definition, your intuition, you're always looking to prove that it's right, or you're asking the universe to show you for sure that it's right, or give me a sign that I should definitely take this leap of faith. What you're doing is doubting your own intuition. You're saying, I don't just trust this. Don't do that. It will not lead you wrong. Here's my other question. Some people will say to me, but I'm not sure that was a symbol for my angels, or if I just made that up. Who cares? There's no angel police that are going to show up at your house and smack you for, interpreting a sign that you came up with as an angel sign. That does not happen. We get in a space where we think like it's dangerous to do that. You have to move past that, okay? No angels are showing up to yell at you. There's no dream police that shows up and said you misinterpreted that dream. Trust your intuition. Trust it, trust it, trust it. If it doesn't make sense right away, it will. Oh my goodness, hindsight, right? When you look back, you're like, oh yeah, that was the right decision, even though it didn't feel like it. Interesting, right? So you have to trust that. I see comments, and I promise I will get to them in 1 second. The other thing that I wanted to address when it comes to dreams and symbolism and having them or not having them, I noticed a few questions about this, and I wanted to address it on video so I could explain it well. If you are like looking around and everyone's having all these amazing dreams and you feel like everyone has 7 dreams a night and I have had 1 this whole month, it's okay. There are a bunch of reasons why that happens. So here's what I want you to first know. The way that you dream is unique to you, and the way that someone else dreams is unique to them, including the frequency, including when in the astrological lunar cycle, all of those things. For me, I tend to dream, or at least remember my dreams, a lot more as the moon is waxing. Okay, so that's in between new moon and full moon. Once I get to the point where I'm in between where we are now, which is full moon and new moon, we're waning, I know that I'm dreaming. I wake up, know that I just had a bunch of dreams, and I can remember bits and pieces, but it's much less clear. And here's why. When the moon's waning, you're releasing. So most of your dreams that you're having are connected to stuff you need to get rid of. Stuff that's not serving you anymore. Emotions that you need to work through so that they're gone. Okay? When the moon is waxing, most of the dreams and stuff that are coming in, if you're in line with the moon, are about what you can do next. What's next for you? What should you build? What should you create? What kind of inspiration can you pull from this? So those are much more, they serve you more to remember them as you wake up and to work through them more. Does that make sense? So, but some people are the reverse. Some people, as the moon is waning, they're like, you know what? I need to release all this stuff and I'm having trouble releasing. They're not the best releasers on earth. And so they really need to work through it further to release. All right. And then as the moon energy is building up and it's waxing, they don't need to pull in that stuff as much because they have all that inspiration going on while they're awake. So it really just depends on you. Your astrological sign plays a part in this. The way your sleep patterns are play a huge part in this. I always wake up in the morning due to an alarm or a child. I don't remember what it's like to not have that. And you know, like the one chance you get, like, I don't know, once a year or something to like sleep in, I will just wake up early. It's so annoying, right? Like my body's like, nice try. But anyways, I don't just wake up in the morning like my mom does. Like she wakes up in the morning like they do on a commercial where they're like stretching and they're so excited to get up. I wake up feeling like I am so tired and so asleep, and I sleep well. But here's my point and what I'm getting at. I go into a deep sleep early in the morning, okay? So the way that my sleep cycles go, I sleep deeply in the morning, and I sleep very lightly between like the hours of 3 and 4 a.m. I'm like, woo, I wake up a lot during those times, sometimes even like nudging close to 2:30, 2 o'clock. That's when I wake up. That's when I get up to pee. That's when I go check on my kids. That's when I go get a drink of water. That's when I wake up because there's a spirit in my room or something to that effect, or write down a dream in the middle of the night from my journal. And then I go down into a deep sleep. So as I'm waking up in the morning, because I was just in a deep sleep, it's easier for me to remember my dreams because I was just down there having a deep one and I'm kind of ripped into awake. All right. If you're someone who's more like my mom and you kind of go through and you go into a lighter stage of sleep before you wake up, it's going to be a little harder for you to recall your dreams because they happened a little while ago. They were down when you were in that deeper state. So that plays a part too. Okay. Now, also depending on what you have going on in your life, plays another big part. The closer you are to your purpose, the more vivid and memorable your dreams are. 100% of the time. The more you trust your soul and follow your instincts and go towards what your intuition says, the less fear is ruling you and the more love is ruling you, the more strong your soul is and the more loud your subconscious speaks to you. And so in a dream state, that communication is just much more vivid and memorable. So just keep working on that. I have had months where I look at my dream journal and there's like 2 words in it for the whole month. And I'm like, wow. And then there are months where I write like a book from the dreams I have. That happens too. And it's all okay. Seasonal things affect you, everything. All right. Everyone has a season. This is mine. I just love the transition into fall. I love this one. You can look at your Ayurvedic, I think that's how you say it, types, and you can see that as well. Like what does your body get the most excited about? That has an effect. Are you in good health? That has an effect. You have a lot of stress in your life. Stress is like the third eye closer downer. It's like just putting a big wet blanket over your third eye if you're feeling a lot of stress. If you're not feeling powerful, that's another wet blanket over your third eye. Like you don't have the power to make changes in your life. Okay, so those are all other things that you can do. But don't stress, it's not a competition for who can have the most dreams, all right? It's trying it. Now, the sleep meditation, if you're doing the one that I made for you, a couple people have said, I'm dying to get past this one section in the sleep meditation because I fall asleep at it every single time. There is a little bit of a science to that. I did kind of do that on purpose. You'll see if you listen to the meditation that it's very much in sections, okay? And so as you're transitioning from one section to the other, that's a great time for your consciousness to shift into another state and fall asleep. But here's the thing, even though you're asleep, my voice is still playing and you're still taking in the information and your subconscious is still going for the ride that I'm taking you down. So it's just that the state that you fall asleep in is where you needed to fall asleep in. As you go through any kind of dream meditation, you're gonna journey through something and you're gonna notice yourself having to put attention on something which releases attention from other things. So as you're doing that, you're going to fall asleep somewhere. Now, the meditation is designed to help you remember your dreams when you wake up. It's a way to fall asleep that sets all the intention and puts your memories and everything in the right place, makes your angels understand, your whole energy field's ready to remember and gain symbolism from the dreams. But if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Go find a different one. Try a different meditation. Try just music. Try maybe journaling for a few minutes before you go to sleep, or just saying the intention. It's okay if one particular tool doesn't work for you and it works for other people. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with you. You'll find your own dream sleep groove, and once you do, share it then. Okay? And keep sharing if you're struggling or remembering them. Wherever you are, keep sharing that. You guys are doing great with that. All right, let me pop in and look over here.